good morning, and welcome to another episode of Let Us Talk Sports. I am your host, the one called Mills. What's up? How we doing? Um, all right, so let's get right into it. In the NBA news, the play-in tournament had started last night with the number 8 Atlanta Hawks facing off against the number 7 Miami Heat. The Hawks defeated the Heat 116 to 105. Um, it was a great game. The Hawks upsetting Miami on their home court. Trey Young was doing his thing. Sadiq Bey was doing his thing. And I gotta say, it was like a collapse of Miami. We kind of expected that, though. We didn't expect Miami to do too much. This year it's just like they didn't have the heart. It's kind of hard, to pick a player on a team when the coach is the best person on the team. Okay, so Eric Spoelstra, shout out to you. You're doing your thing. The players aren't. They aren't stepping up to it. Although I gotta say, I feel like Jimmy Butler probably would have won a championship if he would have never left the 76ers, but that's on another side note. We don't need to get there. And continuing on from where we just left off with the Miami Heat, they will be playing the winner of the Raptors Bulls playing in game tonight, and Atlanta will face off against Boston on Saturday. Continuing on in the NBA, we have the number 7 Los Angeles Lakers defeating the number 8 Minnesota Timberwolves 108 to 102 in an overtime comeback win from the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers came back from a 15-point deficit in the third quarter to overall win the game in overtime. It came down to LeBron driving into the lane, dishing it to Dennis Schroeder on the three-point line, nailing the three ball with about like 2.1 seconds left to go in the game, something like that. But then ultimately, the Minnesota Timberwolves came down. They gave Mike Conley the ball. He shot the three. He missed it, but he got fouled by Anthony Davis. So there was that whole ordeal, which sent it into overtime. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves couldn't get their stuff together, so they basically got manhandled by the Lakers, with that 15-point deficit comeback. And continuing on with that, the Lakers will play the Memphis Grizzlies on Sunday, while the Timberwolves await the winners of the New Orleans Pelicans and Oklahoma City Thunder game. Continuing on to NFL news, Odell Beckham Jr. just signed a $15 million contract, a 1 year, $15 million contract with $3 million in incentives with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this all is coming to with Lamar Jackson, not signing his contract. He also has not signed on to that little player tag that they were trying to give him, a little franchise tag that they were trying to give him for like a 32 million for like 1 year. He's trying to do like he's trying to get that guaranteed, like up in that Deshaun Watson, tier of money right there, that guaranteed money, or at least up in that Kyler Murray of $195 million. And I think he should get that. Being an MVP, Kyler Murray is not an MVP. A lot of these quarterbacks aren't MVPs, and they weren't MVPs on their first year. Now, Lamar Jackson is the squad. He was like fifth in QBR last year, but yet they're still not trying to give him his money. He's basically does like 70% of the offense right there, and they're still not trying to pay him. You guys would not be where you were at if you didn't have Lamar Jackson. Let's be honest about that. If you still had Joe Flacco, would you be in this position that you are? Would you be in the playoffs? Would you be even close to being in the playoffs? Would your record be as immaculate as it has been? No, it wouldn't be, because they're not the same caliber of players. Now, Lamar Jackson should get his money. I'm just saying. But to continue on some more news and current events that are going on right now, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays are on an 11-game win streak. They play tonight, looking to get their 12th win in a row. Now the question is, are the other people in the division going to be able to keep up with them? The Yankees are on a tear right now, but they're back because Tampa Bay is doing so great. So if Tampa Bay continues this streak of, being great, will anybody be able to catch them by the end of the season? I don't know. Well, we're gonna have to find out. It's still too early. We're only 12 games in, so once we get a little bit further, we'll know a little bit more about that. All right. Into other news, with the NBA, there's this whole ordeal going on with Dallas losing like their last few games. All they had to do was win their last game, and then they would still be in the play-in tournament. Well, they decided to sit all their starters and play a bunch of nobodies. They had people coming in from the seats coming in to play. They were like, "Hey, you want to play? Come on down. Put on a jersey. Come play for us." A bunch of nobodies. I'm kidding. That is not the case. That did not happen. But if it did, I would have played. So, but to continue on that, Lucas says he's not trying to go anywhere. Because he still has like 4 years left on his contract, 3 or 4 years, something like that. What he signed like a 5 year contract in back in 2020, 2021, something like that. So he's still got a couple more years left on his contract. He said he's not trying to get a trade, blah blah blah. He said he's still trying to play with Kyrie. But we'll know what happens with Kyrie at the end of the season. Um, as if as it when it comes to them being fined or getting draft picks taken away for them basically losing the last games of the season. I don't think that should happen, just because a lot of teams do it. So you can't start now trying to make people accountable for stuff. If you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to make the rules face that to hold that accountability. You make the rules better, then you're gonna have people not giving up games in the end. You stop doing all this like resting all your players and stuff like that, because people come to the stadium to watch their players play. They come there to watch LeBron James and Stephen Curry's and you know uh, the Zach Levines and the Jimmy Butlers and the Joel Embiids. They come there to watch that. So when those players aren't playing, they're not getting their money's worth, and these tickets are not cheap. Maybe if you're sitting up there in the nosebleeds, or you got some standing room tickets, there's not they're not costing you that much money. But when you're sitting courtside, you're sitting box office, you're spending a lot of money to watch these players, and if you're not getting a chance to watch your favorite players play, then you should get a refund. I'm just saying, because, or at least like half your money back. Because food ain't cheap, these games ain't cheap, and drinks ain't cheap. Especially the way they got this economy going now. But we're not talking about economics and stuff like that. We're talking about sports. In other news, we had the NHL playing last night. A lot of good games going on. Looks like we had the Jets beat the Wild. Um, the Bruins beat the Caps. Da, 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 da. Yeah, there's a lot. The Devils beat the Sabers. The Flyers beat the Blue Jackets. The Maple Leafs beat the Pens. The Oilers beat the Avalanche. The Canucks beat the Ducks. The Krakens lost to the Golden Knights. Lots of games going on last night in the NHL, because they are coming to the end of their season. They are about to get in their playoffs, just like the NBA. So I'm gonna get into that. I guess the next episode we're gonna talk more about the NHL and what's going on there. And since the MLB season did just start too, we're gonna talk more about the MLB and less on basketball and football. But just on side notes and stuff like that, we're gonna get into more discussions about that. And what do you guys think about players making as much money as they make? What do you guys think about all these contracts? What do you think about college basketball players being able to receive money, through their sponsorships and stuff like that? we'll talk more about that stuff. I want to get your guys' insights. I want to get other people's insights. I'll give you my insights and some insights from some of the your favorite sports analysis guys out there like Stephen A. I don't know whoever you watch. We'll get more into that. But I just wanted to do like a little quick episode, just like a little quick tidbit to talk about the play-in tournament and tell you a little bit more about that and what's going on. Um, but I'm super excited because Golden State plays on Saturday and they're playing against the Kings. And yes, if you don't know already, I am a Golden State fan. I do like the Los Angeles Lakers though. I'm not gonna lie about that. They were like my number one, like one of like my number one team, and Golden State was like my number two team. But Golden State is like now my number one team, and the Lakers are like my number two team just because LeBron. Um, I like LeBron as like a player and stuff like that. Maybe as a person, but like I don't like his antics on the court. I don't like his antics off the court. I don't like how I guess the way he views himself, as like the GM of the team, every team that he goes on to. I don't like that, and that kind of ruined it for me for the Lakers because they haven't had a consistent team. They for like the past 5 years, there's been like different players. You don't know who's going to be on the Lakers at the end of the season, at the start of the season, anywhere in the season. The roster could totally flip 100%. So like people who I used to like on the Lakers before LeBron got there, like Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, uh, Contavious Caldwell Pope. Those are like guys that I liked as players, on the Lakers before LeBron got there and just totally destroyed it. Josh Hart, stuff like that. I love Josh Hart. Josh Hart was like my boy Villanova. All about the Nova. And I liked what he did when he left Los Angeles, went to the Pelicans. He was doing all right out there, and then he went to Portland. And when Dame got hurt, he was doing really great. Now he's in New York. He's doing good in New York. I feel like if you have one of those Jay Wright Villanova players on your squad, number one, you have somebody who can score, and number two, you got somebody who can defend. So you're doing right if you got a Villanova Jay Wright, recruit on your squad. But I don't know about these new recruits nowadays. Lack of time spent in the NCAA. Nobody does like more than a year. Which kind of sucks. And then like this whole transfer portal stuff. Like you can move around. Like what? This year I'm gonna play for Florida State. Next year, I'm gonna play for USC. The year after that, maybe UCLA. I don't know. We'll just move around. Just go wherever we want. So yeah, I just don't like that whole aspect of the transfer portal. Like if you're gonna start at a school, stay at a school. You know what I'm saying? Like don't be transferring around. Dictating. Like all kinds of stupid stuff. You got a fan base and they want to follow you to one spot, not all around the globe. You got me? Oh, another one thing that I like to point out. Earlier on First Take, there was JJ Redick on there. He was talking about players playing on a team, and he said it's rare to find a player to like basically play their whole career for like an organization. And that's true. It's very rare. Stephen Curry has played for the Golden State Warriors his whole career. Like he hasn't moved around. Klay Thompson, like that whole squad, Klay, Draymond, Curry, they've all been together from day one. And I like that. Instead of like all these other players just bouncing around, like I'll play a couple years here. I don't like it there. You're not paying me enough. Move me over here. I don't like it there. Move me over here. I don't like it there. Stuff like that. Who cares? Who cares? Just play the game. Ain't about what you want. I mean, sometimes, you know. But you're getting paid all kinds of money, so just deal with it. Be alright. You know, when the season's over, you can go move to where your house really is, where you really live. You're only there for the season, half the year, whatever. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Anyways, like I said, this is a little short segment. I'm not trying to keep you guys on here for too long. Just trying to do a little spiel, talk about sports, and just they have some content on my page too, just as well. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for listening, staying tuned, and I'll catch you next time on Let Us Talk Sports. All right. Thank you. I'm the one called Mills, and I'll check you later. All right. Love you.